I am live. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. I am currently in what I would call my day job, or that is my night job. This is one of the many things that I do, is that I am a barman and what have you at a hotel in the north of England. The Fighting Cocks. Ye olde Fighting Cocks. This is Leah who I'm working with. She doesn't really want to be on camera, so I'm going to change back. And today I wanted to show you guys the amazing sound system that you'll find in a lot of typical British pubs, or at least I call it a sound system, but it's not the best, and what I've done to try and change and improve it, because it's pretty naff. So this, with the rack here, I was hoping I could, enable flash, there we go. Enable flash, there we go. This is a dusty, nasty sound system that's got an alto mixer. Let's turn that on, get that going. You can see how it's caked in dust. It did have loads of cables hanging off it, but I've changed the whole thing, and we also have an alto stereo power amp, so let's turn that on as well. Does its whole protect thing, and we are off. So as you can see, there's a single microphone plugged in, but it's not plugged into an XLR, it's plugged into a line, which is not ideal. But if we run that back, it goes up to a cable up here and all the way around somewhere around here. As you can hear, the football's on, which I thought was an ideal time to do this, because in the middle of December there is nobody here apart from a lovely couple in the corner watching the football. This is the cheapest microphone that they could get their hands on, and it does have an XLR out. I have no idea if it's balanced, but this kind of sounds like this. So it's really not ideal. It's muffly sounding, and there are reasons for that. And the main reason, if we go back to the mixer, is that it's going into the line input. Now if we can, where it says mic 2, I don't know why we picked mic 2, I think that the other channel was kind of destroyed. But it's going into the wrong socket, which we don't really have a choice about, but if I unplug that, it's an unbalanced, probably the wrong impedance for this, which is why it sounds so muffly. Now what I'm going to have to do is, there is a low cut here, which I had enabled. If I had that disabled, that would have been absolutely terrible. And I'm not afraid of doing some very drastic EQ changes, so the low I'm going to take almost off, and the high and some of the mid as well I'm going to take quite high up. The gain is right near the top as well, because as you can see, the mic only had 44 dBs of gain on it anyway, and the line goes from plus 15 to minus 30, so with the trim very, very high, that's how we get enough gain on that to make some kind of noise. This destroyed bit down here, if I can move the camera around, that's what used to be the main mix level, and that's just as high as it will go, I think, or near to that. Now there are other things that I've done to fix this nastiness. So now let's see how that sounds now I've EQ'd it. Here we go.
1 2 1 2 3.
See, that's usable now. Now the main reason that I managed to get that usable, let's just yeah. If anyone's in chat, feel free to say hello, by the way. The reason that this sounds decent at all is if you look at the output section, there's only one cable plugged in. There was so much plugged into here that was just not necessary. If we look at, turn the flash off for a second, you can see that the right channel there is going berserk. There's some sort of noise coming in on the right channel somewhere. Why not redo this completely? Good question. It's not my pub, and I'm not given any budget to do this. That's quite simple. I just wanted to show you this as something interesting and to get your guys' horror stories. So what I've done is the left output is the one that's not got any background noise on. And if I just pull out the power amp a little bit, see if we can see around the back here. I'll get the flash back on. There's a mono stereo switch which I turn to mono, so I only need to use one cable, and then that runs to both channels on the power amp. Now the power amp wasn't exactly working right, so I had to use contact cleaner and clean the volume on each channel, and that gave me something finally usable. They thought the speakers had gone in this, but it turns out that the mixer and the impedance were the problem. So I just thought this was something interesting to share with you on a regular basis. That I tend to end up working, sorting out the sound wherever I go, and it just so happens that this is something I do 1 or 2 days a week to kind of make ends meet when the studio's not busy. And this is a kind of a universal truth about the whole industry, really. As you can see, this this pub it's not my pub, but it's a pub that I do some work in. And yeah, let me know about nightmare sound systems that you've worked with. I'm sure there are plenty of these stories that are far worse than this. A lot of people don't have a clue about this stuff. That's true, and that's kind of why I'm showing you this now. But I just wanted to do something as a bit of a live broadcast, because I tried earlier in the week to do a live broadcast about the basics of using Cubasis on an iPad and the basics of using Auria and GarageBand on an iPad. But I was having some real technical issues. Yes, you've seen some bad things in some bars at restaurants. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of guys have. So let us know if you've had any horror stories. I might do a follow-up video on this. If you guys have really nasty setups that you've seen, send me some pictures. Maybe we'll do a follow-up episode of this and show people just how bad sound systems are. Maybe to try and get some interest. One last thing, I'm going to turn this whole system off. You may have seen how I turned it on. I turned it on at the back of the desk first, then the amps. It's something you're always taught. It's desk, racks, amps in that order. And when you're turning it off, turn off your amps. Wait for your power protect lights to go off if there are any. 3, 2, 1. If you have any processor racks like compressors or EQs, they go off next. That's starting to fade away, which means that's all gone. And then turn off your desk. Big desk, small desk, that's the order you do it in to not have a big bang. And that goes away for another day, almost never to be talked about again, hopefully. So, like I say, if you've got any horror stories of sound systems, let's show the world them, and show even guys who are not sound guys that you really shouldn't be doing that, or at least you shouldn't wire them up in ways that we've seen, which can be horrific. Looks like Leah's not too interested in the corner. Yeah, practice rooms as well. There are so many badly set up sound systems where just wiring correctly could give you a much better sound without, endangering people's lives. So, thanks for watching, guys, and hope to see you in a more properly edited video later in the week. I'm Adam Steele for the Hot Pole Studios, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.